Hey, what's Dee Dee doing now? Y'all know, getting fit at 50 and having fit at 50 conversations with Dee Dee. So we're going to have some dynamic guests. You will not want to miss these episodes. So stay tuned to see what Dee Dee's doing on Fit at 50 Conversations with Dee Dee. Welcome. What's Dee Dee doing now? Y'all know, getting fit at 50. Welcome to Fit at 50 Conversations with Dee Dee. My guest today is Dr. Karen Townsend.
Hi, Dee Dee.
Hello, Karen. Karen, thank you first and foremost for agreeing to join me today.
Absolutely. I appreciate the invitation.
Well, I'm so glad you said yes. And I did want to kind of share with you guys, I reached out to Karen at the wee hours of the morning requesting that she participate in this podcast. And she said, sure. However, if this is a wellness journey, you should be sleeping at this hour. Did I capture that?
You did. You did. Because sleep is restorative. And how can we be well if we aren't sleeping? So why were you sending emails?
You know what? I've been thinking about that. And I've been talking to my family a lot about that. I don't know if it's just me, but most of my ideas happen in the middle of the night.
So can I offer you a suggestion?
Please.
Write the idea down, but don't send emails at 10 or 11 o'clock at night.
Amen.
Because that tells people that you're available at 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and then they feel like they can reach out to you at 10 or 11 o'clock at night. So my secret is,
Yes.
my secret is if I feel compelled to send an email that late at night, I schedule it to be delivered the next morning.
Yes.
During normal business hours.
Tips. So I'm writing that down, y'all. So I love that. And that's the reason why I chose the select group of people to help me in the beginning anyway, Karen, because I know that you, just from our initial interaction, are a very open and honest person. And just the coaching that you have given me in the short time that I've known you has been invaluable to me. So I'm glad that you agreed to do this interview with me today.
Well, again, I appreciate the invitation. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. So thank you. So I'm going to do an introduction, but first, can you or do you remember how we met?
I don't remember how we met, but I remember we met for lunch. We had lunch at a restaurant. I don't know if I should say it because we shouldn't give them free publicity because they're not sponsoring.
Yeah, not yet, no.
But we met for lunch, and I thought it was so delightful, and I really enjoyed it.
Oh, I'm so glad. And you know what? I want to do a shameless plug, but I'll tell you something that you did for me when we first met is you gave me this wonderful book, and it all started when I stopped using lotion. Can you guys see that? And so I want to pause for a moment to kind of ask you to share just a little bit about your book here.
So the title, which often incites laughter. The story behind the book and the title is there are little things we do as people in general, but women in particular, little things we do for ourselves. And for me, lotion was something. It's a little thing, doesn't take a lot of time. But when we start to get busy, we stop doing those little things. And so I was in this phase in my life where I was doing everything for everybody else. And I was becoming very stressed and snappy. And my best friend recognized it. And she said, we should have a spa day. So we went to the spa. We had all the treatments, the full day. We had massage, facial, pedicure, manicure, but the last thing I had was the pedicure. And the gentleman was doing my feet, and he said, "Do you walk a lot?" And I said, "Yeah, walk around all day." And he said, "Well, do you wear heels?" And I said, "I wear heels every day. I'm not as tall as people think I am because I always wear heels." And he said, "You've got this callus on the bottom of your foot. When you take a bath, do you use a pumice stone?" And I thought, a bath? I couldn't even remember the last time.
Wow.
I took a bath, and I'm a person who really enjoyed bubble baths. I take a bubble bath, put on my lotion. But I remembered one night I took the bubble bath, and I didn't put on any lotion. And then the next night, I skipped the bubble bath altogether and I took a shower because showers are quicker. Sure. And then from not taking a bath to not using a lotion to taking a quick shower, it's the fall of the year. Well, nobody's going to see my legs. I'm not going to shave my legs. Nobody's going to see my underarms. I'm not going to shave my under. And so one thing after another, I stopped doing for myself. And then I'm sitting there with my feet in the pedicure bowl and this man asking me questions. And I realized that I became so stressed. I became so irritable. I became a person that people didn't want to be around. And it all started when I stopped using lotion. Yeah. So lotion is my metaphor. But the question I ask women, especially busy women, is, what is your lotion? What is the little thing you used to do for yourself but you don't do anymore?
Yes. And so that was a good question for me. And I had to think about that because, and I was going to go back. So you had a spa day, right? And you discovered that. But here's what I recognize when those things happen. When I do get a spa day, I'm so busy thinking about the next thing, right? You listed all the wonderful things that you guys did throughout that spa day. If I were to have a spa day, I would be thinking about what's the next thing we're doing. What's the next thing we're doing? Because that's how my brain is wired or was wired because I stopped using lotion and all started. And I think about that all the time. I was so busy on the next thing. So it wasn't one thing I could say, it was all things.
Well, I have to be open and honest and truthful and transparent. I wrote the book, but I don't always follow the book.
Okay.
And I had a friend of mine who was observing my behavior. And he said, you know what? I know a book that you need to read because you seem like you're really stressed out. And I was like, okay, what is the book? I love to read. Tell me the name of the book. He said, the name of the book is It All Started When I Stopped Using.
Yeah.
And you know what, Dee?
Yeah.
I went back and reread the book. Wow. Yeah, I should do this. I should do this. So even those of us who we know what to do, we don't always do what we know.
So how often do you refer back to the book here and now?
Not often enough.
Okay.
Not often enough because, again, I recognize we talk so much about self-care. I talk so much about self-care, but I don't always care for myself.
Yeah.
And I think as women, we tell everybody else what to do. We recognize it in other women. We encourage our sisters, but we don't always encourage ourselves. We don't always take the necessary action. And one of the things I decided to do last year is I said, I'm going to make an investment in myself. And I paid in advance to have massages every month. Ooh. And I scheduled the massages for every month of 2025. And there have been times when I call my massage therapist and say, hey, I need to reschedule. And she's like, no, you need to come. But I'm so busy. That's why you need to come. That's why.
And isn't it great that we have people in our lives who don't just say, okay, right? We know you need this, right? And it's wonderful that you have someone who recognizes self-care is important for you to continue to operate in the mode that you need to, right? You're becoming a person that was irritable, right? No one wants to be around, but you can get things done for everybody, right? It becomes more task-focused, and you forget, right? You're trying to be, I saw a meme, and this lady was kind of going back and forth, like trying to get all these things done. And we as women, and I'll use myself, especially at this age, we're past the age where we're caring for our children, but we still have husbands. And like with me, I have an aging parent, right? So we're still in that mode. So it's almost like we go from one stage to another, and we just don't stop to be.
Yeah. We're always humans doing.
Say it.
And we're rarely humans.
Oh, that is wonderful. And so this journey that I'm on, spirit, mind, body, is all about just that. I'm finding myself, and I have to slow down, trading my corporate mindset to a self mindset, but those habits are still there, right? I'm still filling my time, right? Although someone else is not controlling my schedule or what I have to do to help other folks, I have traded that, and my schedule is still full, but it's things that I want to do, but it's still all of those things.
And I would challenge you to look at all the things that you have to do, and ask yourself how many of these things are for Dee Dee. Then thinking.
And you know what? That is great. And I want to say that. And I think that I have tricked myself in believing that they are all for me, because I think it's all the things that I didn't have time to do while I was working. And so my husband asked me the other day, do you have to do them all at once? You know, do they all have to be like right now? And the answer is no, they don't, right? But I'm so geeked about, I have this time, I can do this, and I can do this, and I can do this. And he says, yeah. But do they have to be right now? Right? Someone asked me, well, how's retirement? And I go, well, you know what? I don't know, because I haven't slowed down enough to realize it. So this isn't about me. It's about our conversation. So I thank you for this opportunity. So I'm going to open my iPad so that I can do justice to Candace. But I also want you to give me an opportunity, or give you the opportunity to share who you truly are. And you shared some really fun things with me behind camera. You can do that if you want to while we talk, but I do want to make sure that I do your bio justice. So I'm going to open up my iPad. Joining me today is a powerhouse of wisdom, leadership, and heart, Dr. Karen M.R. Townsend. Thank you again.
Thank you.
So Dr. Townsend is the president of K. Townsend Consulting, an award-winning organizational development firm that focuses on human-centered leadership, a holistic approach that values both personal and professional growth. You also are the founder of About My Systems. Is that right?
Yes.
An organization on a mission to empower 1 billion women and girls. How close are you?
We'll talk about it.
Okay, good. I'm excited about that. Okay. So in 1993, you hosted the nationally recognized Sister to Sister Conference, which was just recently in September. I hate that I missed it. One of the longest running women's empowerment events in the U.S. That's wonderful.
Proud of that.
I am too. I think that that's wonderful. I think we talked a little bit about that, but I want to dig into that too, because I'm excited. Because I think that, you do have it here. So your message has reached audience from the Bahamas and the Dominican Republic to South Africa, where you took the international stage as a featured panelist. That's wonderful. And one of your biggest career highlights being personally selected by the Miss Oprah Winfrey for the Live the Life You Want. Live the Life You Want masterclass, where she shared her personal passion, for self-care with Oprah and the global audience. Yeah. You also are the author of the best-selling book we have here. I want to make sure that everybody can see this close to you. Yes. It all started when I stopped using lotion. A women's journey from chaos to calm. That's where we need to be. I love this.
It's a journey. It is a journey, not a destination.
Yeah, I love that. And I'd like to hear that. I used to always say, life is a marathon, not a sprint. But I love that. I did. Okay. So take that time. Time for me.
Time for me.
Karen. So welcome again at 50 Conversations with Dee Dee. And I'm honored to have you as my guest.
Well, I'm honored to be here because when I saw Fit at 50, I said, I'm 62, so am I still qualified to be here? Or
so first and foremost, did you hear what she said? She said she's 62. Where?
Good genes.
That's what I was going to say. That is marvelous. Absolutely. So I do this walk every Monday. I walk all the time, but I record every Monday. And the part of that is, what's Dee Dee doing getting fit at 50 on my Monday walk, right? And it doesn't matter if you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. So first and foremost, I want to say 60 again, where? 62 where? That's what I want to say. So yes, ma'am, you do qualify.
Okay.
All right. So I want to just start with some questions, but I want you just to be authentic and be yourself in answering those. I want you to be comfortable and I want you to be real. I think my audience would love that. Okay. And I want them just to get to know who you are. And you're well known, of course, but I want my full community and anyone else who has community to know who Dr. Kiana is. Okay. All right. So what led you to your mission of empowering women?
So When I turned 30, I thought I was having a midlife crisis. Because, when you reach those milestone birthdays, when you turn 30 or 40 or 50, you start to ask yourself, am I doing what I thought I was going to do? Am I at the place that I thought I would be in my career? Am I around the right people? So I was 30. And I say, I now know that was not a real midlife crisis. It was a practice. Because now at 62, I've had the real one.
Okay.
But at 30, I thought I should have one. And I talked to my sister friend / boss / soror, Lillian Johnson, and I said, wouldn't it be great if we could have a day for women, and it was just about us, and we don't have to worry about work or our children or our spouses or partners, just a day for us. And she said, well, if you want to do it, I'll help you. So we put together this day that we thought would be one time, one day. We would do it, and that would be it. Well, we got through the first half of the day, and at lunch we did like an open mic, and we were asking women how the day was going, what you were getting from it. And one lady said, this has been so wonderful. Can you do it again next weekend?
So next weekend.
And we said, maybe not next weekend, but maybe next year.
Yes.
So that's the way it started. And here we are 32 years later, still doing the conference.
That is wonderful. So is it Lillian Johnson?
Lillian.
Is she still involved?
Lillian retired, like you.
Okay.
And fled the state. She lives on the East Coast now, but she does come back periodically. And we had a graduate student, Charlotta Taylor, who also helped us. And Charlotta was at the conference this year. But it really is about giving women a space to be. Yeah.
I'm sorry I missed it. And then my plan was really to be there this year. So definitely next year I'll be there. So I'll be one of your first participants. So as soon as you post it, I'm going to get my tickets.
Okay. Well, and I'm going to say publicly, we appreciate you supporting the conference, even though we weren't there. And the fact that you purchased a ticket to make it possible for another woman to attend. That's part of our mission. That's the way we serve. So thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. As soon as I realized, I was like, that has a conflict. And I reached out and you were so gracious. Like, that's wonderful. We have someone that can use it. So I'm glad. I'm glad that your platform offers that type of resources for folks who maybe want to come, but maybe don't have the resources to do so. So anyway, I can help, Karen, I'm here.
We appreciate it.
So that's such a wonderful story. And I love the purpose. We often find that that's right in the middle of our own journey. So having midlife crisis at 30 is wonderful. I always tell people, I realized at 18, I knew everything. At 21, I'm like, I can rule the world. At 30, I realized I have so much more to learn. Right. And so thank you. So, all right. So as someone who's poured into women for decades, I imagine your definition of success has evolved. Can you share with me how your definition of success has changed over time?
That's an excellent question. A lot of people, Dr. Karen Townsend, the finished product, and she has a really cool life. Yeah, she has a really cool life. She's a business owner. She's a published author. I'm known as a thought leader and subject matter expert. So looking at this is like, wow. But there was a journey to get to this person, to get to this state. And what a lot of people don't know about me is I started off as a poor Black girl being raised by a single mom in the projects on welfare. But I was blessed to have a mother who always said, not because of, but in spite of. Anything you want to do, you can do it. Not because you are this, but in spite of that. Okay. And I think it's important to share that part of my story because there are other poor little Black girls being raised in the projects by a single mom who may not believe that this is possible. To be a featured guest on Dee Dee's podcast, sit with an awesome woman like Dee Dee to live this life. So for me, success has been the journey from there to here, but also recognizing that it's very important for us to define success for ourselves. We live in a society that tells us that if you grow up and go to the right college and get the right degree, you get the right job with the right company, you marry the right person and move into the right neighborhood, you buy the right car, you join the right organizations, then you are successful. But how many people do you know who have it all right and it's all wrong for them?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so I think it's very important to determine, what does success mean for you? A lot of times we ask young people, what do you want to do when we grow up? Back to the doing. And I think we should ask people, who do you want to be? Who do you want to be? Yeah, who do you want to be? So I don't know if I answered the question for you, but I was on a panel some years ago, and we were asked that question. We're all women business leaders. So what success mean to you? What do you want to do next? And I was on a panel with a woman who was president of a college, and she said, I want to expand academic programs for the university. It's great. There was a woman who was a commercial real estate broker. She said, I want to sell this $1 million building. I mean, there was a person who was a nonprofit leader. And she said, we want to get this donor so we can. And when it came to me, I said, I just want to be happy.
Ooh, how powerful is that?
I just want to be happy. And when I said it, I felt like my answer's not as good as theirs. But when it was over, so many women came up to me and said, I want to be happy.
I want to be happy.
I want to be happy. Because all the stuff, it does not equate. It does not equate with happiness. Like you get a new car, and it smells good for 2 weeks. Yeah. Then you're mad when you got to make the car payment. I ain't happy about that. Oh, that ain't happiness. I'm not happy about that. Or you buy the house in the right neighborhood, and you're like, oh my gosh, I got to clean up this house.
Yeah.
I'm not happy about that. So what is it at your core brings you happiness? So I know I'm not the host, but I want to ask, what is success mean to you?
So you know what? I'm going to go back to where you were. As a young person, I was uber ambitious. And I wanted that next big thing, right? And so for me, it was just success in whatever I did. I wanted to be an achiever, and I became addicted to that. I'll be honest, to that recognition, to that award. So I'm going to tell you a story, then I'm going to tell you what makes me happy. So I was in the Air Force, and the Air Force has a really good way of recognizing folks for excellence. And I remember we had a course. It was Airman Leadership School. They were trying to teach your airmen how to become NCOs. And you had to go to this course. And we were in the graduation. And they have an award called John Levitel. It is the highest award you can get in Airman Leadership School. And so we were there, and they were saying, and the winner of the John Levitel Award is. And before they could announce it, I stood up like I had won the award. My husband, he spoke my jacket like, what are you doing? I said, it's me. It was me, Karen. I was so arrogant to think. And I love that, because I always hear people say, you got to do everything with excellence. And I try to do that with everything with excellence. But I'll be honest with you, there's a price to pay. You're trying to be everything to everyone and trying to be the best at everything. And so I was defining success as achievements, recognition, those things, seeing, who is Deidre? I wanted that, right? I wanted people to see who I was. I wanted them to see that I had the career, I had the home, I had the kids, I had the husband, I had the car, I had everything that I wanted, but I wasn't fulfilled because I kept trying to chase that recognition. I kept trying to chase that, and that's not success to me. Success is happiness. I am at a place now where I am happy. And I don't know what the next thing is going to be. I'm a little scared. I don't know what that's going to look like. I'm 55. I'm retired, but I say semi-retired. I don't know what that's going to look like. But I know the success that I had before it wasn't true success to me. So right now, if you're asking me, and when you made that statement, and I resonated with that, when you said happiness, I just want to be happy. That's success. I want to be happy on my own terms, not what people expect of me. And this is me just being truly vulnerable. I loved being a middle child, right? And so I always felt like, pick me, pick me, pick me, right? Because I am that middle. I'm not the oldest and I'm not the youngest. I am the oldest granddaughter. And I think that that has some pluses and minuses, but I always wanted that. And I no longer necessarily want that.
Don't pick me.
I don't want to do that. And I felt like in my last journey, and I loved what I was doing. I love people, so human resources for me was perfect. The organization that I worked for was phenomenal, and I was recognized by my leaders. But I put a lot of pressure on myself to be the best, and I felt like I was getting burnt down, right? Because I wanted to do that, and I was really thinking that was success. I was in the job I wanted. The conversation was good. My life was good. But I was on an endless grind where I was irritable. People didn't want to be around me. I was snappy, right? And I thought buying or giving was love versus time. Yeah. So if you're asking me success, it's happiness. Yeah. So, can me cry here. I think that
Tears are cleansing.
I love it. I love it. And I'll tell you this, to be honest, the 3 women that I've had on this podcast have really shared with me and been vulnerable. And I think my audience really needs that as encouragement. When you tell your story about who you were or who you are, because I believe it's who you are, right? You said I was a little black girl, who was poor, right? That's who we are. But it helps. That's a part of our journey. And we should never discount those things, because that's who, or is what defines us as the women that we are today.
It's part of the journey. And, a lot of people present that this is what they've always been.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not my truth. That's not my truth. When we went to New York several years ago in December, so I have 2 daughters, and when you turn 13, you get to pick where you want to go for your birthday. And so my older daughter turned 13 in June. She wanted to go to New York. So we went to New York in June. It was wonderful to be in New York in June. My youngest daughter, her birthday is in December. She wanted to go to New York for her birthday.
Yeah.
So we went to New York in December, like Christmas time.
Oh, yeah.
To be in New York at Christmas time.
Yeah.
It was magical.
Was it?
It was magical. We went to see the Rockettes Christmas Spectacular. Have you ever seen it?
No.
It is spectacular.
Okay.
That is not hyperbole. It is spectacular.
Yeah.
And then we went to see the Rockefeller Christmas tree.
Yeah. Did you were you there when they lit it?
It was already lit, but we went to see that iconic Christmas tree. And Dee Dee, I stood in front of that tree.
Wow.
And I went, and my daughters were like, "Mommy, you're so embarrassing." And I said, "Y'all don't even understand. I didn't even know there was a Rockefeller Christmas tree when I was your age."
That's right.
And now I'm standing in front of this iconic tree.
Yeah.
So because of my journey, there's some things that I just appreciate and I don't take for granted, because little Karen, she didn't get those experiences.
Nor did you ever dream of, little Karen ever dream of that type of experience.
No.
Now, you may not even been aware of the Rockefeller tree, but little Karen, did she dream of things bigger?
I knew there was bigger, but I didn't even know what bigger was.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And to be able to offer that to a 13-year-old daughter, how'd you feel about that?
I felt great, but for them, it was just, that was their norm.
Yes.
And I tell them all the time, I said, you all go on vacations that require a passport.
oh my gosh.
I said,
this generation is very different.
I said, when I was little, I remember being in middle school. Yeah. You know what my vacation was?
What was it?
My vacation was, if you did 5 days of vacation Bible school
Oh.
at Eastview Baptist Church, and if you had good behavior on Saturday, you got to get on the church bus that did not have air conditioning and go to Beach Bend Amusement Park in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
No.
If Kings Island is this,
Yes.
Beach Bend is this.
Oh,
But I was happy to go.
I love that.
That was my summer vacation.
Okay.
So, you know, my daughters, I have to remind them that they are very privileged.
Yes. Do they understand that though?
They do.
Okay, good.
They do.
Good. My daughter, I believe that she thinks like my boys probably are a little bit they kind of are my struggle kids. I always say struggle kids. So they see us growing up, they had a good life. Don't get me wrong. But for her, that passport thing, that's real. Mm-hmm. Right? She goes to Hawaii every year. Every year she saves up her money and goes to Hawaii. And it's a week. It's not like this last vacation she did 2 weeks. I haven't been to Hawaii yet.
Wow.
Yeah. So for me, little Dee Dee was the same with little Karen, right? And I love just that. And I have to reflect. Do you ever reflect on your gratitude, or are you ever grateful for that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Because I do think we can take things for granted. I was doing a leadership program last week, and I was challenging them to think about the people who don't have what we have. One of the things we were talking about is what percentage of the world lives in substandard housing. And I said, the first thing you have to do is define what is standard housing. Because for us, you know, standard housing is central air, central key, at least 2, car garage, maybe 3.
Yeah.
It's a carpeted floor if you want it, or hardwood if you don't. That's just the basics.
For us.
For us.
Yes.
But for some people, they've got a dirt floor and a mat. But we're in this lovely facility doing this podcast. This is a privilege. It is a blessing.
It really is.
And we do have to remember that everybody ain't got it like we got it.
I love that. I did want to do a shout out for the Huff and the Black because if you look back at the pictures of what this looked like before, and to see the owners of this have a vision of what this could be versus what it was. And I always think about that even in my own self. You know, if someone had looked at me and they would have said, this is this little, poor black girl instead of the Huff and the Black. Does that make sense? And I'm kind of correlating that the same way.
Right.
For them to see something in this spot and to make it as beautiful as it is now, that kind of resonates with me. I'm like, yeah, I love that. I love that. Okay. You know what? And we're going off topic, but I just here to talk to you all day. All right. So good. I love that. So we often speak about women that who are finding their voice, showing up in spaces where they may have felt overlooked or underestimated. How do you help women embrace their voice and show up confidently?
You ask some really hard questions. But I love the question about showing up confidently, because the tagline that I'm using for my business is live and lead confidently, because we are living and we are leading, but we aren't always doing it confidently. And I think many times we aren't, because we're listening to that person in our head who's telling us that we're not enough, or they're going to find out, or you really don't know everything that they think you know. And sometimes we have to quiet that person and have conversations with ourselves. Sometimes we have to talk to ourselves like a best friend, because you would not allow your best friend to say bad things about her.
Yeah.
You would say, girl, that is not the truth.
That's
Girl, you know you can do it. Remember when you did this? You are fully capable, competent, and qualified. So sometimes we have to have those conversations with ourselves. I think every woman should have a theme song. Ooh. And I have a theme song.
I'm asking.
My theme song is Work That by Mary J. Blige. Oh. And when I'm going to meet with a new client, that is playing on 10 in my car. So if you ever see me and I'm like this, I'm listening. I'm getting pumped up. I'm having that encouraging music, that high. that I'm my own hype woman. If nobody's available,
Yeah.
but everybody should have their own theme song.
All right, so I'm taking note. I need a theme song. Yeah, I love that. I love it. And to quiet that inner critic. That's what I heard. I do. But can we have a theme song? Yeah, I'll share it with you. Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, well, thank you. I love that. I love that. So tell me this. So many of our listeners are women in their 50s or above, right?
Above.
Above, and that's what you said. Where? That's what I'm going to say, where? But they're still dreaming and shifting and stepping into new seasons of life. And that's where I'm at right now in my new season. So what advice would you give to women 50 plus who are navigating transitions in career and purpose? What advice would you give them when they're transitioning into something new, into that 50 stage, right?
I would tell them to do something really bothersome. So, and I would tell them to go on a solo trip. Ooh. Go on a solo trip where it's just you and you. Because when you go on a family vacation, or if you go on a vacation with your spouse or significant other, you're still ebbing and flowing with what they want to do. And sometimes you need to just be with yourself. So a couple of years ago, I went on a trip by myself. I go on trips by myself all the time. When I turned 40, I went on a cruise by myself.
Wow.
And I remember when I decided to go, there were several people that said, "Oh, do you want me to go with you?" And I said, "Actually, I'm going with someone that I really love. I really care a lot about her, but we just kind of disconnected." And they said, "Who is she?" And I said, "Me."
Yeah.
So I went on this cruise by myself. 2 years ago, I went to Sedona. Let me change that. I did not go by myself. I went with myself.
I love that.
I went with myself. I went to Sedona, and sometimes I think we just need to step away so we can hear the kind voices that need to be heard. Sometimes you need to be silent so you can hear from God.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to be just away from the day-to-day, from the distractions, the obligations, the expectations, so that you can hear, what is it I'm supposed to do? What is it I'm purposed to do? But there's so much distraction. There's so much background noise. There's so many social media, and there's so many things pulling at you that, are you walking in your purpose, or are you walking in the purpose that someone else thought would be good for you to? There are certain topics that, they're my jam. They're my zone of genius. And because I do what I do well, people say, "Oh, well, could you do this?" And, maybe if I took a couple of months to research it and learn it and put it together, but taking that time away to do something outside my zone of genius is a distraction from what I do well. So I've learned to say, that's not my area of expertise. You need a human resources professional, call Deirdre Buckley. She's the person for that. But being able to stay firm in who you are, do what you do well, and have the courage and the confidence to say, that's not for me.
I love that. So a few things. So I want to go to Sedona. Is Arizona beautiful? Is that where you are? Is it beautiful?
Oh, so can I tell you my Sedona story?
Please.
So I've been wanting to go to Sedona for years, and I finally decided I'm going to Sedona in January. My birthday's in January.
Okay.
I wanted to go for my birthday, but then I found out the first full moon of the year was January 25th. So I moved up my trip to go early so I could be there for the full moon. Because Sedona is all about energy and connecting with the earth. It's just, it's a special place. It's a special place. And so I had my trip planned, and I was about to buy my airline ticket. And I said, I wonder if I have enough points to get my ticket. And so I called the airline. They say, yeah, you do have points, but you're still going to have to pay a little bit. How much will I have to pay? $5.72. I'm going. I bought my ticket. I mentioned to a girlfriend I was going to Sedona. And she said, well, I have a timeshare. Do you want me to see if it's available? Please. I got the timeshare for $250 for the week. I get to the airport. Something happened with my boarding pass. They say, could you please wait here? oh, you've been upgraded to first class. So everything about this trip was just wonderful. And then I got there and there was a delay when I arrived at Phoenix. And so I was kind of had to be in a holding pattern to get my rental car. I finally got my rental car. It was pitch black, which was a blessing because if I'd had to drive in the light of day, I would have been so afraid because you're driving through the mountains and the drop-offs.
Oh, you did.
But I couldn't see it.
So you didn't even-
And I'm driving around, getting lost and going here and there. I get to the resort. I looked up and you can see every star in this sky because they don't have a lot of street lights. They consider it light pollution. So you can see every star in the sky. And it was so beautiful. And then the next morning I woke up and I could see the red rocks. And it was so overwhelming because it was so beautiful. It's beautiful. But everything there is beautiful. The energy is beautiful. The people are beautiful. But that was a solo trip. It was me and me.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Don't pause it. Up. I just want to make sure. You know what? I love that. And so so when you share that with me, everything aligned. See, then that's truly God. And that's kind of where I want to be. I want to do that. And I haven't done the solo trip, but that is on my list to do.
Do a solo trip.
You know, it's sometimes it's hard for me just to sit in my own silence. So I think I need that. Definitely, I do. I heard you say zone of genius. Can you expound on that just a little bit for the audience?
I think it's about knowing what you do well. Okay, so my consulting practice focuses on human-centered leadership. And that is all about recognizing the humans that you work with and for and the humans that you serve. Wow. And all too often, we don't value, affirm, or appreciate the people inside our organizations. And if you don't take care of those people, they can't take care of your client.
Amen.
So that's where it starts. The work I do with women is all about, again, giving them a safe place to be, to show up. One of the things I love about our conference is what the women say to us. So many women say, I've never been to a conference like this where I've been loved on, where women just approach me and say, hey, sis. And it is a day that is really about pouring into women and giving them what they don't get other places. So other than giving birth to my 2 daughters, giving birth to sister is something that I'm very, very proud of.
I love that. I do. I love that. And I want to give you time at the end just to talk a little bit more about sister to sister, if you don't. Of course, because I think that that's very important and it's special, right? And I want my audience to be able to identify the opportunity and expand on that for when the conference comes September each year. Good.
So, because confidence is contagious, and you've talked about confidence here, and that's very important. When one woman stands tall, it gives others permission to do the same, I believe. And with all of that, you do traveling, speaking, leading. I know balance doesn't just happen by accident. And we talked about balance. You gave me some tips already on what I need to do when I have those thoughts in the middle of the night. What are some of the practices that keep you grounded in your purpose?
What are some practices? I am an early riser. I wake up early, earlier than anyone else in my house. And I love that quiet time to read, to pray. The river is behind my house, and so many mornings I make a cup of tea and I go outside and sit and just listen. And that wasn't something that I always did, because it is true that you can't see the forest for the trees. And sometimes you see things so often and you just take it for granted. One of my girlfriends came to visit me a few years back, and she looked in the backyard and she just started running because there's a bench in my backyard. She said, I bet you just come out here every day and drink coffee and just watch the river. And I was like, I really don't.
Right.
And I apologize to God for giving me this beautiful space that I didn't utilize. So that's something that I've started to do, to just go outside and listen to the water and look at the water and to be one with this beautiful space that God created. And I'm allowed to just experience.
I love that. And she recognized that immediately.
She did. And I was like, ooh, no, I don't. But I will.
So how often do you do that?
Probably 4 or 5 times a week.
Oh, that's great.
And even when it gets cold, it's so funny. I go out in my pajamas
Oh, yay.
with my scarf and my sunglasses.
Yeah, like, hey.
It's my backyard.
That's right. This is my space.
It's my space.
Yes. I love I love that. I love that. All right. So, I think every woman listening can take something from what you said. I think it's important for us to stop and listen. I love the whole solo trip. I love all of this, right? And I think it's time for us to stop and pulse, right? And I think that that's important. I need to take something away from this and where I could just be alone in my thoughts. And I haven't done that yet. And it's been 90 days. I tell people it's been 90 days since I retired, so I haven't stopped to do that. I haven't stopped that pace. And so your conversation today is kind of giving me, I won't say permission, but giving me foresight on what I need to do. Right, so I think that. So what's one message that you want to give every woman to walk away with today?
This year, the theme for the Sister to Sister Conference was You've Got the Power.
Okay.
And that is the message that I would want to share with your audience, that you've got the power. All too often, we are waiting for someone to give us permission, to say it's okay, to authorize or validate us, but really you've got the power. Whatever it is you want to do, you have the power. Even if you don't believe it in this moment, I'm saying it to you. Can I look in this camera and say, you've got the power? It might mean that I need to call a friend and say, this is what I'm thinking about doing, can you help me? You have the power to ask for help. You have the power to dream your dream and make the dream come true, but you don't have to do it by yourself. Ooh. And so when we say we are on a mission to empower 1 million women and girls.
Yes, thank you.
I can't do that by myself.
Okay.
But if I empower you and you empower someone in your network and they empower someone in their circle, then exponentially we're going to empower 1 million women and girls. People ask me all the time, where are you in that million?
I asked you that. That was my first question.
I'm trying to figure out a way to measure that.
Yeah,
I was thinking to put something on social media to say, if you have ever been empowered by me, send me a text message. And I was like, I might get too many text messages.
Yeah.
Or
might get that million.
Yeah, send me an email. So I really don't know how to measure it, but someone said you've probably already done it. You've been doing this conference for 32 years.
Yes.
Think of all the women who come to the conference and shared something they learned at the conference. And then they said, you were on the master class with Oprah.
Yeah.
That went all over
Yeah.
the world. So we probably empowered 1 million women and girls, but that's a big number. And what I always like to say is, if we have empowered you, you are now 1 in a million.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
And so you have a responsibility to empower someone else. And you've got the power.
Well, thank you. Thank you for giving me the power. So, because you said that, she brought me some goodies, and I want to share with you all. We got the power. Thank you, Karen.
You're welcome.
I love it.
You're
I love
welcome.
it. She gave me some goodies, and I love all of these. And I'm glad she brought me this, because at least I get to see a preview of what actually happened in the conference. So thank you. And I did some goodies. I got it smell good from my car. What's this beautiful thing here?
Open it up. It's a purse hook.
Oh, I love this. So I can take it when I go out to eat. Oh, I love, look at that. Thank you. And of course, I know that, and I have an ink pen here, right? And she gifted me again. It all started when I stopped using lotion. One woman's journey from chaos to calm, right? And so if you don't have this book,
Amazon.com.
all right, thank you very much. We can get that here. So I always like to close out my podcast allowing my guests to provide some good insight or something that they want to share with the audience. So what would you like to say to the audience?
I would just like to repeat and reaffirm that you have the power. I am really committed to elevating women, like the guys, but sometimes we need our own space as women. And so 2026 for me will be about creating new programs and services for women who want to elevate, amplify, lift their voices, be confident. I encourage you to check out my website, drkarentownsend.com. Fill out the contact form so you can be the first when we open up registration for Sister to Sister. For the past 3 years, we've sold out in like 7 days. So if you want to be in the room, get on our list. And just thank you to you for this opportunity.
Yeah, I thank you for agreeing to do this for me. And again, there are so many stories out there, and there's so many women who can just grow from your insight, who can be inspired just from this conversation that we're having today. So again, I thank you, and I thank you for being there for me, right? I've learned some things just today that I think I'm going to reach out, right? Because I have the power, but now how do I harness that power? So, and everyone's been asking me, how did you start this, right? What made you do it? And it's people like you, Karen, who have inspired me to take risks and to do things that I would not naturally do. So I thank you for that.
You are most welcome.
Well, thank you. So, thank you all for joining us. And what's Dee Dee doing? Y'all know, getting fit at 50. Having fit at 50 conversations with Dee Dee and Dr. Karen Townsend. Thank you, Karen.